Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Underground Podcast. I am your host, The Baddest, and today I have a very special guest, an explosive hardcore rapper that embraces their identity and unashamedly shows off their incredible personality in their music. Please, everybody, welcome the incredible Changeline.
Hi! Oh my god, I'm expecting a crowd to go like wow. And right off the bat, you're one of the rare person who pronounce it Changeline, which is crazy. Most people don't.
Is
I
that
don't. I literally don't.
correct?
I literally don't care. I literally don't care. People just like I'm French, so I pronounce it Changeline, and usually people pronounce it this way. But I'm always very, very vocal about the fact that I literally don't care how people pronounce my name.
All
So
right.
it's always cute when I have, because like for some reason most people are like always gonna pick up on the Changeline, and then like once or twice a year there's gonna be someone who says change a line, and I'm like, oh wow,
I'm
that's
so
cute.
sorry. Yeah,
No, please don't apologize. I love it.
yeah, I'm always so nervous when I do the intros because I'm like, it's because I'm interviewing more niche artists and I've never heard them like just say their name normally.
No, that makes sense. Like most of the time, the first question I always have is always like, "How do you pronounce your
Yeah, I
name?"
considered it,
So
but I thought I had it, and you know what? It's okay. We
you
move
can
on.
for sure.
So I have a list of questions, as you know, but before I get into that, is there anything you just want to say about yourself, where you're from, your age, your preferred pronouns, anything of the sort?
I go by she her pronouns. I'm from France. I am an out and proud tranny with the hard R of 27 years old is what I usually say. And that's pretty much all there is to know about me, I think.
All right, nice. Well, again, I'm very excited to have you on the show, and
I'm so excited. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm looking forward to asking you some questions about your music.
Yeah.
All right, let's get right into it. The question I ask everybody, I'm sure you've been asked before: how did you first get into making music, and what were some of your biggest inspirations in doing so?
Oh yeah. That one question. So how I got into making music is kind of like odd. Basically I was working as an editor and director for in like movies and videos and like social media advertisements, stuff like that for like 5 years. And I've never really dabbled into music that much. I was playing instruments when I was younger, but never got into like making like my own music. Was always like playing other people's stuff. And then I got into well, rapping kind of first. Maybe singing came before. I don't exactly remember. But I was like just like seeing it as kind of like a rhythm game. At first I was like doing other people's songs, and since I was working in videos, my point about that is that I wanted to make music videos, but it was really hard for me to find artists around me in my area in France who were doing the type of stuff I do, the type of stuff I like that I now do. So I was like, I want to make music videos, but I literally don't have anyone to like that I really want to work with. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do my own stuff, and I'm gonna do music videos for my own musics. It's just so that I actually like the music, and once we'll be like good at making music videos, we'll stop making music and we'll just move on as a full-time videographer or whatever the fuck. And I ended up liking making music, even though the first songs at that point, at that era, were like, it's not even that far away, but it wasn't that good. But I was making music videos around them. And then I just like kept going with the music more than the music videos. I just liked what I was doing, even though I was really crappy for like a few years before I got really good at what I do, or like decent at the very least. Yeah, and then I had another name just before my transition, so that's when I started like actually working on music. And then at some point I transitioned and I was like, okay, so By the way, my old name is not really hard to find, but some people have been like asking, and I'm like, I'm not gonna say it, but you can definitely find it. And then when I transitioned, I was like, okay, well, I kind of want to like change names, so then I came up with the name Changeline, which is literally just like the first thought about Changeling before it became like an actual, like there was like an actual deeper meaning behind it, was just like, oh, I really like the changelings, like the changelings, the little creatures from like Celtic folklore and from like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. And I was like, I wonder if there's like someone called just Changelin without a G, and there's like a couple of bands. And then I was like, but what if I add an E? And then no one had that name. So I was like, okay, that's my name. And I'm very proud of it. And yeah, and that's how Changeling became like a thing. It was like early 2022, I believe. And since then we've been like making more and more shit and better and better.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, that's cool. I didn't know you worked in video. I think that's really interesting. And you can kind of, and that does make sense. You can kind of see it in some of the quality of your
Yeah,
output.
yeah. A lot of people don't know, but once I say it, they're like, "Oh, that makes sense now."
No, yeah, that's cool. Did you like go to school for that, or is it just a skill you just built
I
over
did
time?
go I did go to film school for like 3 years. I should have done only 1 year, honestly, because those fuckers really just stole my money, to be honest. Like I learned most of my skills outside of school. I was just too scared of dropping out. So I was like, no, I'm gonna do the 3 years and like get an actual degree. Um, but like no one ever asked me for whatever degree I had. Like everyone, when I started working in the films, everyone was like, "What did you make before? Like, who gives a fuck about your degree? What did you make?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was already making stuff, and that was like way more valuable to any employer. So yeah, I did go to school, but like honestly, especially now with the internet era, like it's so easy to like learn a lot of skills online for way cheaper than going to school for like 3 years.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Okay. Moving on to my next question. How do you describe your genre and style of music to people that are unfamiliar with your work?
I usually don't, and I always, what's funny is that when people ask me that question, usually I always have a friend with me, and I always like turn to them and go like, I don't know, what type of music do I make? Just because it's kind of hard to define, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I mean, you can definitely put it in some like boxes if you want to. Let's say I usually say that I make, even though I don't really consider myself a rapper, I say I make alternative rap
Mm-hmm.
that leans towards hyperpop, EDM, and metal punk ish sounds.
Yeah.
That's how I like most of the time go. I'm completely fine with people considering me out rap, out hip hop, because that's like the core basic of my music. But yeah, I never really say that like I'm a rapper, because I feel like actual rappers are so much better than me on like a lot of aspects of their music. I feel like there's so much different stuff to my music that doesn't really go into the rap category, and the fact that like the way I present myself also is like kind of not really super like rap oriented, and I want to like respect the culture also. As like a white person, I really don't want to be like intruding in something that isn't my territory. But honestly, from like hanging out with my rapper friends, like, and shout out Rob Apollo, shout out fucking Snow Xavier, like all my friends, they like every time I have this discussion with them, they're always like, no, you can call yourself a rapper, bro. And I'm like, I'm still not gonna do it, but I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's totally fair. Um,
Yeah.
so, um, you just said that the core of what you do is like alternative hip hop. So I'm wondering, what is it? about the more aggressive and abstract style of hip hop that you do that you were attracted to? And how did you develop that sound over time?
Uh, well, I guess I was like I got into that genre of music through like I have like it's extremely like regular for a lot of people from the underground. So this is not gonna come to as a surprise to a lot of people, but to other people who are not familiar with this like genre or like scene, it's like whoa, okay, don't know half of what you just said, but like I like discovered XXX Tentacion back in the day, and he really opened my perspective on what music could be. To be honest,
Mm-hmm.
I was way younger as well, and specifically the hard like rage part of his style, even though he had like a lot of different styles, like was really what was appealing to me. So I started being like from X, I discovered people like Scar Lord. I was already into metal a little bit, even though I've never been like a metalhead, but I was listening to like hardcore stuff before. I was listening to punk a lot as well. I was listening to a lot of rap, honestly. I've always been listening to a lot of rap music. But yeah, it's like the hardcore thing came like later in life, and then X came in, and I was like, oh shit, we can literally just like merge two things. Like, I mean, I was listening to like Linkin Park, for example, which is already like rap and metal technically,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the same as like X. X feels, and that's like a real quality to me. When I discovered X, I was like, this is accessible because I feel like I can do it if I dabble around a little bit. Not as in like it's easy to make, but like it's accessible and it's awesome, honestly. So then I like discovered Scarlord. A little later, I discovered Lil Darky as well. People of that like that scene, like the SoundCloud kind of like era. And yeah, from there I was like, okay, I'm gonna like try to do that. But I also really like to do, I at the time I was really into lo-fi beats. I'm still a lot into lo-fi beats, but I was like, I always had a side of my music that was way softer. I still have that, like little ballads, little like ukulele songs. And I feel like right now with the state of like music, and especially after the SoundCloud era, people don't really just like keep themselves in a box and just do one style. Like a lot of people, a lot of like even the bigger artists are really trying a lot of different styles, which is something I really enjoy. So I was like, I'm going to try out a bunch of things, which was a little too messy at first, but now it's getting like way more cohesive. So there's like, I feel like I'm finally finding like a good balance between soft sounds and harder sounds. And yeah, just like going in that scene, what I was really sure that as like a French person who was singing in English, I wouldn't get that far, and I wouldn't like meet a lot of people that I've met since then, and that I wouldn't really be accepted in that scene, and I would eventually have to go back to performing in French. And actually, no, I started having like a little bit of a name. I'm not really like that tapped in with the underground scene. I'm not really that tapped in with everyone. I'm kind of like in my own lane sometimes, which is something that I should sometimes work on, because I really like a lot of people from the scene, but it's kind of hard for me to really like just like feel like I can have like actual proper relationship with people who are literally on the other side of the world, even though I go to America a lot. But like, yeah, I've met some people like is Brokey, whose other name is like Stepi. I mean, main name is now like Stepi, but she's mainly known through the name is Brokey. And her collective Karma Mob, like I said, Little Darky before. I have met with like my friend Ominous. I've met like Bladesmith, like a bunch of people who were like gravitating around this genre of like we're making like what we used to call trap metal at the time, but
Mm-hmm.
this kind of like died out since then, just because like the genre was never really meant to go that far, honestly. If you really want to like be innovative in your music, like Scarlo is still the king of that genre, and the one that like keeps it alive. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's not really a genre that's gonna go like that far now. Um, and yeah, that's how I like approached it. And then like I was like, look, I see all the underground people just collabing with each other. I can like try to do that with some people. And like I know a lot of French people are extremely scared of doing that because they're like, it's Americans. Like, we're scared of them. Like, what the fuck? And a lot of French people don't even speak proper English for that matter. So, but I was like, yeah, no, fuck it. I will collab with American people if I want to, and I will. And then I got like a little bit of a name, and like I got a little bit more like respect around the scene, and that's just like, and now we're here, basically.
No, yeah, that's cool. I think, yeah, something that resonated with me that you said is when I was younger, I think X was one of the first musicians to really show me what music can be. And you know, as divisive as a figure as he is,
Exactly.
I think he showed a lot of people, a lot of younger people, um, and like I think a great thing he showed is you don't need to be like as technically savvy to make music. You know, he wasn't like an
Yeah,
astounding singer or rapper or songwriter or producer, but he was like a creative mind that
exactly.
just did what he wanted to do, and I think that was a really
Yeah,
cool thing.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and yeah, and it's cool that you've also been able to meet all these people, and I hope you get the chance to make more connections in music and keep doing collaborations and stuff like that.
Oh, it's happening, let me tell you. It's happening. But yeah, I didn't even I didn't even touch on that super quickly. But yeah, X was like a very controversial figure. And like, I still don't fuck with a lot of things that he did. But one of the good things that we have, and what's a shame about his sudden death, is that he was really trying to change for the better, which is something that we usually don't see
Hmm.
with people like that. Honestly, he was like on the last year of his life was really trying to put down the work. And I think that's why for someone like me who's extremely, I do not separate art from the artist, I was always conflicted with X, because at first I heard his music and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I heard about the guy and I was like, oh shit, not super okay. Don't know if I fuck with that. And then he started really trying to get like better. And I was like, okay, I guess at least there's like a redemption arc, and then like rest in peace. But yeah, it was like, I know a lot of people maybe would be shocked that we cite X as an influence because of how controversial he was, and I completely understand. But I think he was still deeply like human, way too young for the fame he had, and I think like at least he was trying to get, maybe it would have failed, I don't know where it would have led to, but at least he was trying to get like to be a better person, and like that's really valuable in my opinion.
Hmm. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Um, so okay, so yeah, I asked you about how you developed your sound and how you kind of landed on the sound that you work with now. But now you've been making music for a few years. I'm wondering, how has the artistic process for you changed over time, and yeah, how has your artistic vision and process changed as you've been making music
Yeah,
for a few years?
wow, that's a really interesting question. It's been, yeah, it's been like a hustle to really find, like define the way I really am comfortable making music, and it's an always evolving process. Before was like, I was always making, I was like 75% of the time making my own beats. When I was hopping on other people's beats, it was like really, if I had like a big, like if I was really falling in love with a beat, even though I made some pretty terrible choices honestly with beats before, but at least that's what I was resonating with before, especially for like the soft stuff. I've never been like super good at making my own like soft beats. So I was like way better at doing the hard ones. So I like dabbled around a little bit. I did a lot of crappy songs. I got back into playing the piano a little bit. I can't play it like good enough, to the point like one of my big weaknesses that I still have in my music making process right now is that I'm still figuring out how to come up with like not come up but like work out good melodies and add some good melodic elements to any type of song, whether it be like hardcore or softer. It's always like gonna be something that I want is to have like an actual cool melodic element, kind of like which like my biggest inspiration for that was is probably obviously for a lot of people Tyler the Creator, just because he
Mm.
like does a lot of like merging of the two worlds kind of in his music. It's extremely interesting to me. Um, and yeah, so before I was like kind of like making music out of like I would hear a sound either on the internet or in the real world because I'm very outgoing. I like take walks in the forest a lot. I watch birds, and like sometimes I hear like a sound and I'm like, whoa, that would be a cool sample, and then I try to like reproduce it, make it bouncy, make it catchy, whatever. And a lot of my old beats like the big songs from back in like 2 3 years ago, like ADHD Core, Octopus Lady, were made out of just like random samples of like objects. I was not really putting like a lot of melodic elements into it because I wanted to like just solidify the like rhythmic aspect of my music and making like cool sounding drum sounds that I could hop on. And but I've never been like extra big into like producing, as in like composing. It's not really what I like to, at least not from scratch. I'm a really good arranger, and I'm a really good like mixing engineer for that matter, and I'm a really good writer. But I'm not really a like I'm a like a decent producer, but not that good. So I always wanted to like find someone that I could work with who could be really matching my style, my energy, and would have like the work ethic that I kind of have. And for a while, I didn't find it, so I kept on making my own beats. And then at some point, I met the very lovely girl from Denmark that is called Novafled, who is my main producer right now since like I think pretty much like a little less than a year ago now. I'm like almost exclusively working with Nova. I work a little bit with other producers as well, but it's more like sporadic. And Nova was like, I met her through my friend Bad Lad, who's like a UK artist, who was dabbling into the trap metal genre, and he's now like way more diverse and he's like awesome. Really, like please go listen to Bad Lad. He has such a great evolution in his style. But we he got me to open up for him like 2 years ago on what was my first show ever at the time, and then we talked a little bit and he was like, yo, I got this producer I've worked with a little bit and I think you guys could match. She's called Novafled, and I think he did. Shout out Josh though, if he's listening to that. I'm pretty sure he didn't mean any harm, but I'm pretty sure he did. Like, oh yo, you're trans, she's trans, you guys should make music together. But at the end of the day, I cannot thank him enough for that, because then when I made the connection with Nova and she sent me a couple of beats and we started like talking, I was like, yo, no, like literally, I would hope on that. Like, I would really go crazy on those beats. The first ever song I made with a Nova beat was Laser Fully Charged, is still to this day one of my biggest songs.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, like the way she makes beats, the way she arranges them is really like really resonates with me. And if you can hear that she also has this ear for like putting ear candies, little moments that happens only one time in a beat, and it's like so I at first I was like just working with a bunch like some of Nova's beats like here and there, and then I was like, no, every single song I make with Nova's beats like they resonate way more, and I just fuck with this girl. Like really shout out Nova, I really love her so much. And then I was like, okay, I'm mainly gonna work with her because she has a really good output, she makes amazing music on her own projects, and she makes amazing beats, and she has what I was saying about the work ethic before. She has like it's more like of a technical thing, but she always has stems available from her beats, which not a lot like which is crazy for a lot of producers, but a lot of like there's a lot of people who still don't have their stems with them, like, or they have lost their project or whatever, and like it's just like a fucking bother, especially for me, who has never used a beat without rearranging it, without adding anything to it or like taking down something. So like if you send me a beat, if I don't have the stems, I'm never gonna work with it. And Nova always has everything on hand, and she's also completely okay with me fucking up her beat like so bad to the point where sometimes she's like, I send her like the end result, and she'll be like, "What the fuck did you do to my beat?" But then she like actually fucks with it. She like gives me she what's really good with the collaboration I have with Nova is that she gives me the very good basic where I like still am a little weaker, which is like coming up with good melodies, coming up with a good song starter or whatever. And from there, because I usually work with lyrics, if I don't work with like drum sounds, I'd say I'm good at making drums. That's the good part of my producing, is like I'm good at making drums, I'm good with coming up with good lyrics. But then when it comes to like adding more stuff to that, I'm always I'm working on it, I'm so working on it, but I'm still not there. And she provides that, and I feel like it's just like, yeah, a really good like combination of strength. So yeah, ever since I've been working with Nova's beats, I have just been enjoying myself so much. And she also I want to say understand the assignments when I just like ask her for like a specific sound or a specific mood in a beat. She will always be like, "Oh, okay, I can do this, 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 and that." And just like she's awesome, and I stand on that. I will say that she should be recognized as one of the best producers of her generation. Like, no cap. She is insane. Everyone who has listened to her beats without even me playing like a song I'm on, sometimes I just like, because she sends me like folders of those shit. Like, sometimes I feel like she makes 5 beats a day, and they're all amazing. And sometimes I just play them to people, and they're like, what the hell? They're like, I like it, and they're like, I love it, and it's like in the realm of what I already know, but also it's so innovative.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, just like, she's amazing, and she should be recognized as like extremely talented. And honestly, I think, I don't know if our path are gonna still be linked in the future, or if I end up like working with someone else or go back to producing my own stuff. I don't know. But like, most definitely she has contributed like to a lot of what are my best songs to this day for now. So yeah, shout out Nova. She's so good.
Shout
And
out.
I think I'm done.
Yeah, thank you for such a thorough answer. Um, yeah, well, shout out to Nova.
Shout out
They
Nova
they
Fred.
sound incredible to work with, and I will say, I mean, I don't know for sure which songs of yours are produced by them or not, but I've heard some incredible beats in your discography, so shout out to them.
Yeah, she shout out Nova Fred. She produced Laser Fully Charged, and she produced 10 songs out of 11 of my latest album.
Oh, okay, so
Uh
a lot of incredible
and yeah,
stuff on there.
yeah, a lot, yeah. She produced a song of mine called Marvin. I have a song that just dropped like a month ago called Chocolate Jam. She produced that one as well. I have
Okay,
like a song coming out tomorrow with Rob Apollo. She produced that one as well. Like, yeah, she produced a bunch of stuff.
nice. Okay, that's cool. Um, all right. My next question is, what would your advice be to newer, younger artists that are just starting off and haven't quite developed their skill set in making music yet?
It's so hard for me to give those kind of advice because I don't feel like I'm in a good position to be able to say like, oh, I know better than you guys, just because like any story is different. So what applied to me may not apply to other people. Um But one thing I can, like a couple of things I can definitely say. Well, one thing, you're gonna be bad for a certain amount of time. We never know how long, but you're gonna make bad songs. And you might get famous out of bad songs because sometimes like people still get attached to really bad songs and they're like still like it and it becomes like a whole era, and that's kind of like the trap of it, is that if you get a fan base from it, so good for you, so happy for you, but at the same time, please keep on working on your craft and never listen to anyone who's like, please do the same thing over and over again. Because all due respect to my fans and every music listener out there, but you guys always want the same shit and we don't listen to you. Like, really, we don't. Because if we do, we're never really going to be innovative. And sometimes that makes bad results. Like, I mean, to the sense of like an album that's like too innovative to the point where people are like not understanding it on first listen and they're like, oh, what the fuck is that, this direction? That's not the artist I was following. Like, fuck you. But then in retrospect, a few years down the line, they'll be like, no, that makes sense. And so that's like my second advice, is like, do whatever makes you happy, and like really whatever, even though you cannot define a genre like I am, like please still do, because it's music is so much more than a lot of what people like value as like good music. I think people tend to forget that we started we started making music way earlier than that in the history of humanity, but we started like actually recording music in like the like I believe late 19th century. Just look at the amount of albums and the amount of stuff that we've created. There's so much. And so don't be like, oh, I don't really matter, like I do something too weird. Bro, there's been so much weird shit. I'm telling you, from the 30s to the 60s to the 90s, like, bro, if you're not in the pop genre, it's fine. Don't worry. If you're trying to be appealing to a huge crowd, sure, yeah, you can. Don't do it for the clout though, please. Don't do it just for the attention. The attention is cool, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's really nice, but also you really need to be healthy about it, because otherwise it's gonna just eat you up. And my last thing, I think, like piece of advice is like two piece of advice. One, repetition is the best teacher. So like do like get yourself a schedule of like, I used to drop songs every 2 weeks, just because I was like, I'm gonna make a song, whether or not it's good, I'm gonna drop it every 2 weeks, just so that you get comfortable with the concept of having a piece of work that you did and putting it in the world. No matter if it works, no matter if it was perfect, if it needed more polish, whatever the fuck, you just did it. You got it out. You got it out of your system. It's now out to the world, and you can move on to the next one. Because as you keep going with this process, you're going to find out what you really like about making music, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and what you should really work on. And then you're going to like enjoy the process more than the output, which is so important. It's like you really need to enjoy the process, not just like being like, I made a really good thing. It's like being in the studio and making what you're making should be what you really like. Or being on stage and performing what you made should also be what you really like, if you're into that. Me personally, it's like both. It's like being in the studio and also being on stage and performing it, because I feel like it's also part of the process. And so yeah, even if you feel like you're making the same song over and over again, keep going until you really perfect your craft and you can move on to like another aspect of music making or whatever art you're making. Just because like it takes a while to be good at a skill, really, and not everyone starts with the same capacities in life. So don't worry if it takes time for you. Really, you're fine. And I'd say one last thing is hype yourself up no matter what people say. I have been also because now I make genuinely good music that I'm happy to listen to. So I'm like, if I play one of my songs, I'm like, bro, it's awesome. I'm so hyped up about this song. It's like it goes so hard. And no matter what people say, and I know some of my friends are now being like don't let her play her music because she's gonna just fucking suck her own dick. But you know what? I don't give a fuck because I'm having so much fun making it and then listening to it. I'm like, this is literally what I want to listen to. So yes, I fucking love my shit. So it's like a lot of people have said that in the past, but like really get to the point where, and even if you're not there yet, like just love what you're making, be proud of what you're making even if it's not perfect or whatever. Hype yourself up. You're cool, you're beautiful, you're sexy, and you're awesome for even just trying to create. So be proud of that. A lot of people are not going to be happy for you being proud of whatever you are. That applies to trans people as well. And like just fuck him and move on. And if they don't want to be proud of themselves, that's their problem. Be proud of yourself.
I think that's
That
great
was cool.
advice. That was cool. No, I think that's great advice. For sure, yeah. I think people get too caught up in like their own insecurities with making their own
Yeah.
art, and it can be a vicious cycle to try and get out of that.
Yeah. But it's also okay to say that you're shitty. Like a lot of people are like you also need to have this step back. Like a lot of people when they're like talking, especially professionals from the music world, they're like always trying to like be nice to you and like kind of like
Mm.
brush you and like be like, oh, you've been good for a while. Like if you come to me and you're like, oh, Changeline, you've been so good since day one. I'm like, bro, no. For 2 years, I was bad. I was extremely bad. Don't even say that. Like I'll be like, this song is bad. This album is bad. Like and I don't give a fuck. I'm so proud that I did it because now I make good music. I needed to go through those steps to then get to where I am right now. It's like being proud of what you do because it's good is important. Recognizing when you fuck up is also good, and still be proud. Being proud of that is like fine. It's like being like, I fucked up. Like, it's fine. So
Hmm.
fine. It's
Yeah.
so fine.
No, yeah, you're totally right. I agree. It's okay to not have it all figured out for the first, again, unknown
Exactly.
amount of time. It can be a very long
Exactly.
time. Um, all right, so getting into a little bit of a more personal territory, but you've been very open about it in your music. Um, how has being transgender affected your approach to making music?
Oh, yeah, that's barely personal at this point, I feel
Yeah.
like. um, I don't know, to be honest. I just talk about mm, I just talk about personal stuff and what I am. So of course I'm going to talk about being trans. I'm not going to make it all about that though. I know that I don't uh like I wouldn't like, but that's a problem that even all females have. It's like and women and like whatever. It's like we're gonna be called like trans rapper, female rapper, and like I would hate someone to go like, oh, this is like she's a trans rapper, whatever the fuck. Like, don't. Why would you put trans before whatever I do? Like, how does this define what I'm doing? So it's always there because I want to like fight for what is right. I want to like be out and proud, and just be representing something that's kind of like different and has not been talked about for a while, and just take space because we're so used to have uh cis straight guys taking all the space that we need more voice that are gonna be still in the same realm as what they do and as vocal as them but different in their identity. So I guess that's kind of how my transness really um affects my music. It's just a matter of like, I will never feel forced to make like a whole song about I'm trans, I'm trans, I'm trans, I'm trans. I will never make all my songs about that. I have a bunch of songs that will never even mention that I'm trans, like
Mm-hmm.
because I shouldn't even just talk about that all the time. It would be weird. I do talk about being a lesbian a lot though, but that's just because it's fun. Um, but even that is not like the only thing about my identity. So I guess it just influence. Yeah, I guess it just influences my music in like I'm there, I'm taking space, and I'm what I am, and I don't give a fuck about what you have to say. I don't really overthink it more than that, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
Um, but that leads me to my next question, which
Mhm.
is how long did it take you to develop that confidence in just being so unashamedly yourself in your music or otherwise?
Oh wow. Wow. In general, fuck. I'm what, 27 right now? I think it took me 24 years, maybe 25. Took me a while. It took me a while.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have that much confidence before. Um, when it comes to just the music stuff, I want to say it took me. I've been making music for like 4 years, 4 or 5 years. We're coming up to 5 years now. Uh, to develop the confidence I have right now, I think it took me 3 to 4 years easily. Um, when it comes to like being myself in like a more general uh, term, as soon as I started transitioning, the confidence started coming, but it was slow. I think it wasn't like an instant thing. It took me, I think, 2 years down the line after I started transitioning for me to then be like, okay, I'm really cool and awesome. And it wasn't even just about the transition aspect, but I guess like it really helped, of course, because it was like a huge relief on my mental health to transition,
Mm-hmm.
which is like something like a lot of cis people don't understand. It's like literally, I mean, at least for me, because I don't want to put every trans person in the same basket, but I was like, I really feel like I don't want to say reborn because that's kind of like ugh. But like really started, I feel like my life really started when I started transitioned, and I felt that I lost a big part of my life because of that. Like I wish I transitioned earlier, and honestly, I transitioned pretty early in my life, but I still could have transitioned way earlier if I knew. It's like fuck if I knew. It's more of that feeling because I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know. Like it's not even my fault. It's just like shit. I should have figured it out. I would have loved to figure it out. I would have loved for someone to tell me. Um, yeah, but don't like. I know it's like a very scary process for a lot of like pre-transition people, where they're like, "What if it doesn't work?" It's gonna work. Don't worry, don't worry. I'm telling you, I had the exact same fears. I was like, "What if it doesn't do anything?" Yeah, don't worry. Really, I can assure you that it's gonna work. You're gonna be okay.
Nice. I think that's a good message. Um, well, I was actually going to ask after that. I'm not sure if you have anything else you want to say. What advice would you give to the queer and trans youth out there that aren't as confident in themselves and their identity yet?
No, I mean, I still have a lot to say, I think. But like, um, just yeah, I want. It's gonna be maybe a little controversial. I don't know. I want to say like be super. Well, first, like same shit as what I said with music. Be proud of what you are. Take space. Be careful though, because right now, taking space is like okay, but also like don't die.
Yeah.
Like I know that it's like dangerous as well. Not everyone has like I was also, yeah, I didn't even mention that, but I was also lucky enough to be androgynous my whole life, that I was called a girl even before I transitioned. So except when I started growing a beard, then it was like a little clearer for some people. But I was like, um I like, not everyone is gonna have the exact same, like the same passing as me. So of course, like, me being out there and be like, hey, I'm silly and I'm like queer, and then who gives a fuck, and fuck everyone. Like, I also have like pretty privilege as well. Like, I have, like, I'm white, like a lot of privileges that some people might not have. So completely fine to not have the same history as me. Um, but still be proud and be like, don't question the fact that you have the right to exist is so important. You don't have to pass to be valid. When it applies only to trans people, it's like, for what applies only to trans people, is like, you don't have to pass to be valid, really. It shouldn't be an issue at all. um and I could say, like, you don't have to have a lot of experience when it comes to just like sexuality. You don't have to have a lot of experience for it to be valid. It's like, it's a feeling you have in your inner core, and as long as it's you and yourself and it doesn't hurt anyone, who gives a fuck? You should be able to do and be whatever you want to be, and whatever you are, even intrinsically. um but I guess, um it's like, and that's where I lean more into like the controversial part. Don't super like, it's cool to have community, a queer community, and if you want to be kind of like, if you want to only stay within a queer surrounding, totally fine. Like, so understandable. But understand that there's still other experiences outside of us, and we should kind of like work all together to try and be like a community, not just a queer community. But the queer community is important, but having us being open to have to deal with the non-queer community should be like super important, because if we start not talking to each other, um it's that's where I see conflict happening basically a lot on the internet. Is that and the truth is that I usually don't want to be understanding hate if we go all the way to that, because sometimes it's just like people who have never seen a trans person in their life and they have weird questions, and I completely understand that it can be triggering. Don't worry, if you don't have the spoons for that, totally fine. Preserve yourself then and like step out. Some people will have the spoons for you then, and I think it's fine too. Like me, for example, being less triggered from by a cis person being like, so did you do the surgery? For example, which is like such a stupid question. Like, I genuinely hate when they ask that, because I'm like, why do you care? But I had some queer people being like, why didn't you fucking yell at that guy? I was like, because it's not gonna help if I do that. And not saying that being angry isn't valid, not saying that any anger isn't valid, not saying that crashing out against hate isn't valid. I think we cannot just work out with peace, because like, if there's violence inflicted to us, we're gonna have to answer with violence sometimes if we need to defend ourselves. That's for sure. But just when you're in an environment where it's not like someone literally beating you up and just someone being unaware and like ignorant, but not trying to do anything bad, just recognize that some people might have the patience to be like, okay, so about your question. Like, I've seen some queer people, like, again, circling back to that, but like, I've seen some queer people being like, why were you so chill with that guy who basically was asking so many weird questions to you? I was like, I was not inside. I was not. I was really trying to like fight the urge to crash out against him. But at the same time, I was like, if I do that, sadly, and it's terrible that we have to have this role of being moderating our own fucking existence, but like, sometimes it's going to require patience. I'm so sorry, but sometimes it's going to require patience for people to understand what our experience, and yeah, sometimes it's going to require us having to go through some weird ass fucking talks, and that sucks, and I'm sorry, but it's always better to have like a talk with someone who said some really nasty shit, but just because they didn't understand and they are trying to put down the work, than being with someone who's literally hateful and saying you should die. It's like very different. Although I am mainly surrounded with queer persons, and I'm mainly not hanging out with cis straight people, so honestly, I'm not even a good example. But I do try sometimes to like put down the work, and like I think this reflection has like those thoughts came with the years of like I'm meeting more and more people that aren't queer around and that I can actually like hang out with, and sometimes I need to do some work of like just even some of them are not even aware that I'm trans. Some of them are just like, oh, you're a lesbian, and even for that they have weird questions. Sometimes it's like bothering. Yes, it's so fucking bothering. But most of them are like fine, and like they're just like curious, and curiosity is fine. And I like to answer curiosity with curiosity just for them to understand as well. Like I've never really had the question, like I never really had it outright like how are lesbian having sex? But I always like to, when I have a question that's in that realm, I always like to answer. And then what about you? How are straight people having sex? I wonder. Just so that they're like, oh, you obviously know. I'm like, I don't know. You know, you can always make, yeah, you can make things better, I think, without being too violent sometimes. But sometimes you need to fucking throw rocks at cops, and it's okay too. Please do.
Well, thank you for that.
Of course. I hope it was clear enough. I'm kind of like, it's like an ongoing process, and I'm not the best one to talk about this topic. But yeah, I hope my perspective can like help a little bit of people, and I'm so willing to discuss it, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah. Um, well, moving on from that, I want to talk about your 2025 album, The Draw of a New Shape, which is out now.
Hmm.
Go listen, everybody watching. Make sure
Please,
make
it's
sure you
such a
go
great
listen. It's
album.
one of my favorites of the year, so please go listen.
Appreciate you.
So yeah, you released that album this year. Can you share what that album means to you and kind of what it represents as the latest evolution in your discography?
Okay. So it was for me, it's like, well, it's literally what I say most of the time. Like the tagline of it is like it's an album about change, both like the concept and me as well. Um like the big theme of the album is change, just because over the last year, like 2024 all the way up to 2025, my life has gone through a lot of changes, and that came with a lot of challenges, and I was coping with these feelings by making music, and that's how this album came into existence, which is funny because it was supposed to be just a mixtape of like just like bangers. Like literally on my computer, like the folder of the Draw of a New Shape is still called Mixtape Bangers to this day. It's not even called the Draw of a New Shape. I didn't even change it. But then it became like way more because I started being like more invested in the lyrics than what I thought I would be when I was making like each song on the album. So I was like, okay, it's actually an album, not just a mixtape. So yeah, it's an album about accepting the fact that you will always change. Nothing is always ever going to be the same in your life. And that it's scary and it's hard to deal with, but that's okay because it's a cycle that you will always come out stronger from, I want to say. And this album is supposed to kind of like encapsulate that through making it kind of like fun to listen to, like, because it was a lot of turmoil for me having like the the like having the album sounding so as crazy as it sounds is really a kind of like an intention, because I really wanted to like express that change is like literally messy sometimes. Like you go in all directions and you really are like you need time to like figure out what exactly you want in life. And yeah, it talks when it comes to like more specific things that apply to me. It talks a lot about my relationship with change and the feeling around it, but it also talks about how my sexuality have changed, how my romantic relationships have changed, how my friendships have changed, how my relationship with my parents have changed, um, how my relationship with myself as well have changed. And that's kind of why the whole theme of the album of having like me talking to myself and like on the cover arts me always being with cartoon version, like the Changeling cartoon version is that I called Cartoon Change, is also like important because it's literally a representation of like there's like these two people kind of like fighting over what they should do next, while they're like kind of like literally the same, the part two parts of the same person, and they should just like work together to like get through life together, I want to say. And it's also just an album to like have fun with, honestly, if you don't even want to go that deep. uh it's an album for whenever you need to feel empowered and walk down the street like you're the fucking shit. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, put it just for that reason. So happy if you do so.
Uh-huh. Yeah, as much as I do appreciate the substance to it, it is definitely one of those albums that just makes me feel about myself when I'm listening to it.
Straight up. Straight up.
It's
Straight
great
up.
for
That's
that.
the whole feeling I want.
All right, so I got a few more questions for you.
Nice.
Um, and one of them is just a little get to know you question. Very simple question. What are some of your hobbies and interests outside of making music?
Oh wow. Well, as I said, I go outside a lot and I take a lot of walks and I ride my bike a lot when it's sunny. I'm saying that because it's cloudy right now in France, which sucks. But I love to go in the sun. I love to walk out with my dog. I love to just like enjoy nature in general. It's a big, big part of my identity. I come from the mountains, so I'm very about like the big hikes, and being just like out there with nothing and no one, or like maybe one or two people that I'm like walking out with, and that's it, and just being happy, enjoying existence. Um, I'm a huge. Well, I've worked in film, so I was a
Mm-hmm.
huge film nerd for a while. So I'm still watching a lot of movies. I could talk like again, if people out there have a movie podcast, I've been saying that on every interview. If you guys have a movie podcast, please invite me. I swear to God, I can talk about movies for so long, so long. So yeah, I'm a huge film nerd. I'm a huge book nerd as well, but mainly comic books and mangas is mainly what I read. I do read novels though a little bit. Right now I'm actually reading a novel, but usually it's like mangas, comic books, even webtoons, like web comics for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like always taking a book with me outside, and like reading outside is something that I do a lot. And I just like to travel. Like I have a very traveling life. uh, I spend my time between America and France, but even in France, I do travel a lot in between like all the regions that where I have to see people. I sometimes go to Copenhagen to work with Nova. I sometimes go to the UK to see some friends. I have some friends kind of like all around, like between Europe and America. So I just genuinely like one of the best things in life is like traveling for me. Um, yeah, and I think yeah, I think that's pretty much it about like because I make a lot of music
Mm-hmm.
really girly. Like I really just do that, and I'm very like work oriented, so that's mainly what I do. But yeah, when I'm not doing that, I'm like probably outside on a hike or just having sex, to be honest. is what I do.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good life to be living right now.
That's okay. I'm privileged enough to be doing that. I've always been kind of like that. But no, not for a while. For a while, I was like a big nerd that would stay inside, but I always wanted to be outside. And then when I was 18 and got out of my parents' place, I started being way more outgoing, a little bit more, and I had trouble for a while making friends. Is also why I was like, oh, how do I go out if there's no one to go out with? And then I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go out.
Yeah.
I traveled for a while. I was traveling on my own, completely alone, and then I started getting like a few years back, like it's been 3 years that I now have like a really good circle of like friends that I can really trust, kind of like around the world, and it's like really helping with that because traveling alone is good, but traveling with people so much better, so much better.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Um, thank you for sharing that. Again, just kind of a get to know you question.
Of course,
Um,
love that. Never been asked that before.
I got a couple more questions, and then I'll let you go. Is there a song of yours that stands out as being your best?
The Draw of a New Shape, very last
The
song on
title
the album.
track?
It's like it's it's so good. It's like literally the fact that I made a 6 minute song that's enjoyable and you don't want to skip, in my opinion. You're okay if you don't like it. Like, no worries if people don't like it out there. But I've heard that people who listen to it are like, what the fuck? It's 6 minutes. And I'm still into it. Like, throughout the whole thing, I can listen to it.
Hmm.
Um, that's my top one, the Draw of a New Shape. Just also because it's like fun, but also emotional. You can put it. I think you can listen to it in a lot of context, whether you're feeling down or up. I think it's always going to be helpful, and I love the fact that it goes through a lot of genres that I really like, whether it be like soul, but also like hard kind of trap, rapidy music, but also dubstep at the very beginning and like club music at
Hmm.
the end. I really like the fact that it goes through all those. And yeah, I'm really just extremely proud of that song. That's like my top one. My second one would be Sex with Death. And third one would probably be Voices in My Phone, I think. It's like my top three.
That's a good top three.
Yo,
I can see that. I think Change Part One would have to break my top three, but um,
yeah. What would be your favorite one from me? I'm curious.
um, I think my favorite off the record would be Sex with Death. It's just a very,
Yeah,
I don't know, it's just,
very enjoyable.
I know, I just love the vibe of that song. Um, yeah, I guess my top three would be Sex with Death, Change Part One, and The Draw of a New Shape. That'd be my top three.
Straight up. Appreciate
Um,
that. No, I love Change Part 1 too. Honestly, it's really good.
yeah, shout out to Damage. Um,
Yep.
all right, two more questions. If you could collaborate with any artist, dead or alive, who would that artist be?
Oh, shit. Um, wow. I never think of that because I'm always like, we'll see.
Yeah.
um, Tyler, what right off the bat, I feel
Hmm.
like we could make really cool shit. I don't know if he would vibe with me. I'm pretty sure we could, but we would be really chaotic. So I don't know if it would make a good song out of it. But Tyler, for sure. My favorite artist is Woodkid. He's a French artist, but like he sings in English and he's well known internationally. He has made an album called The Golden Age, where there was like two big tracks out of it: Run Boy Run and Iron. Run Boy Run was part of Divergence 2's soundtrack, I believe. Iron was the song of that they used in the trailer for Assassin's Creed Revelation back in the days. It got huge because of that. And he also made a big part of the Arcane soundtrack, I
Oh wow.
believe. Yeah, so he's awesome. Extremely different from anything I do because it's very orchestral pop. But he's probably one of my favorite, like he's my favorite artist, like music artist right now, and he's probably one of my favorite humans. And I don't know how we could collab, but I would be interested to see
Hmm.
how. Uh, and I think I would honestly really love to work with I don't know if it would like I don't know if it's like collab then. I just want to be there when she records, but I would love to work with Adrienne Lenker. I don't know
Okay.
if you know her,
No, I'm
but
I'm
like
somewhat
very,
familiar.
yeah, very way softer artist. Uh she has made song like one of her biggest song is like Zombie Girl. Um she it's just like ballads with just guitar most of the time. But I think she's the lead singer of Big Thief, I believe, or I hope I'm not mistaken. Someone fact check me in the comments if that's the case. But yeah, I just love the way she writes. Like she's so interesting. So I would love to try and collab and like sing with her. To be honest, even if I just do like quite a choir, but because I don't know if our styles would match, of course. But like, yeah, she just like is such an incredible writer that I would love to like just even just be there when she's like
Hmm.
writing. I'd say. Um, do I have do I have anyone else that I would like to collab with? Oh, and in a way more like accessible realm right now, Joey Valence and Bray. I
Oh
think. I mean,
yeah.
Joey Valence follows me, and we've talked a couple of times, so I'm pretty sure there's going to be something happening there, maybe down the line in like a few years. But I'm pretty sure we would combine our styles really really well,
Oh yeah, that
and
could
like
be sick.
they're done. But I would have loved to make a song with Brockhampton. Honestly, that would have been
Mm,
sick.
yeah, that's cool. Thank you for that. Yeah, I definitely. Those are some good answers. I definitely like a Tyler. The thing about Tyler is he's become so versatile that I definitely think he could that you two could produce
Straight up,
something
no
pretty
doubt,
incredible.
no doubt.
All right, my final question, the question I ask everybody to close off the show. What do you hope to get out of your music career? Is there an end goal that you hope to achieve?
Oh yes, most definitely. Um, my end goal is to have made a name that's big enough in the music industry that I can go back into filmmaking is my big goal. It's like I would love to hopefully through uh directing, of course. I would not be close to like acting, even though I don't consider myself like the greatest actress. I think I would be good at. Well, I would be good at dubbing cartoons, though. That's something I really want to tap in. Actually, I'm trying to make it happen on like the little side project.
Mm-hmm.
But um, yeah, that's kind of like the end goal. I really want to be able to like transition to like I would keep on making music, but I think it would be like an my name as Changeline would help open the doors of like making movies, and hopefully from there really transition back to that type of job, because just like because I don't my family doesn't work in films, it was always hard for me to actually break in this industry because it's a very closed industry. But I would love to go back into it because I have like I'm always writing scripts here and there. I'm always having ideas for like visual stuff, and I would love to like tap back into that. So yeah, that's the end goal.
Interesting. It's kind of interesting that your end goal for your music career is to essentially start a whole different career.
Yes.
That's interesting.
That's what I tell people. I have like a whole plan for my life. If you really listen to me and if it works out, I know what I'm gonna be doing when I'll be 70 years old. Just because I just like it, even though if it can change, it doesn't have to be like I'm not gonna be like strict. Like I need to do that, otherwise I'm killing myself. Like no, but right now I'm like I kind of like have the image of myself at every step of my life, and I'm like I would love to make this happen. So we're gonna try to make it happen.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Well, that's all I have for my questions. If there's anything you wanna say though, if you think there's anything we should have covered that we didn't, or if you have anything you want to ask me, anything like that before we close.
What's your favorite indie horror game? I know you talk about that a lot.
Oh my god. My favorite indie horror game is Doki Doki Literature Club.
Let's go. That's one of the. That's because I'm not even into indie horror games. I'll be real with you. I mean, no, I've played like a couple of them, but I did play Doki Doki, so that's hard that you like that one.
I love Doki Doki. I love all the characters. I love the horror. I love the fourth wall breaking stuff.
It's insanely good.
Yeah. One day I will get, I just gotta find the right artist and the money. One day I will get a big tattoo up here of all the characters together.
Oh, straight up. That's what's up, girl.
Yeah, Doki
Honestly,
Doki, one of my favorite pieces of media.
It's insane. When I played Doki Doki, I remember it was a friend of mine who was like, you should play that, and I'm not gonna tell you anything about it, but you should play it. I was like, okay. And I was like, I remember it takes like well, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it takes like 30 minutes or something of playing, even more maybe, for it to really go into the actual thing.
Yeah.
Like for a while I was like, why am I even playing that game? Like I was so close to giving up, and then I was like, oh shit, okay.
It's crazy.
I mean, a lot of people are aware at this point, but I'm still not gonna spoil.
It just turned 8 years old yesterday, actually.
Oh wow! Happy anniversary!
Happy Doki anniversary. Thank you for asking me that. That was very cute.
Of course.
I guess that's all I have to say.
And I guess just I guess shout out some stuff. Shout out Nova Fled. You should listen to her music. That she doesn't do with me. She's awesome. That interview will be out when that song drops, but I have a song with Rob Apollo dropping tomorrow when we're filming this, and it's really cool. It's a very spicy sexual banger, and I hope you guys like it. I am going on tour in Europe. I'm opening up for Delilah Bond at the end of October, so if you guys are in Europe, you should come and see me on stage. And stay tuned, but we will have more shows in the future in 2026. So
nice.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. And more albums and more songs, of course. Yay!
Yes. Nice. Very exciting. Be on the lookout for all of that. If this is your first time hearing about Changeline, then make sure you click all the links in the description. Just go listen to her music, get those streams up. Again, I keep saying this, but the point of this show is to introduce you guys to some more underground artists that you may have not heard about otherwise. So go check out Changeline. All their socials will be in the description. And check her out. She's fantastic.
Appreciate you.
That's going to be all for this episode. Thank you so much for taking part in this.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. That was so fun.
I really appreciate it. And that'll be all from us. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye. Love yourself.
Mama told me I look better than ever. I guess I'm doing good with my endeavors. Stack as a bitch, you're trying to be regular. Used to be clown for talking way louder than all of you dumb men. Making fun of my sisters, no offense, but go play again.